I was 24 when I left Uruguay. I was a university student then. And they closed down the universities, and I became part of the Frente Amplio movement. But it was banned during the dictatorship, and I was put into a military prison for 2 spells. By the time I got to prison, I was 24, so I didn't go back to college to do documentary photography, photojournalism till I was 27, 28. So by the time I got to Chile, I was 33.
On the weekend before the Tuesday, the 11th of September, Pinochet joined the coup. One knew that the balloon was going to go up, and it went up. On the Tuesday, the junta fighters came and bombed Santiago. Allende was dead. He had, I think, shot himself. The presidential palace was aflame, and we watched it burning down over the next week or so, and constitutional government was put away with the tacit or explicit support of Western powers until some pretense of democracy came back in the 1990s.
Añade que con brutal violencia los reaccionarios han derribado a un gobierno legítimo que llegó al poder como expresión de la voluntad del pueblo.
That's Allende's wife.
Tencha.
La Tencha.
Her name was Hortensia, but
Hortensia.
Her nickname was Tencha.
Tencha. And she was in exile.
She went to Mexico, yes.
She was in exile in Mexico since the coup. A very brave woman.
Very brave woman.
She sort of campaigned, obviously, for the plight of the disappeared ones and the fate of her late husband. This is a fisherman in the south of Chile, and it's a face of dignity, but desperation, really. A lot of people, especially in the coal mining area, Lota, were suffering a lot under the Pinochet dictatorship because he closed down the mines.
Yes, he did.
And he took a revenge, on the trade unions.
When Pinochet and his terrorists came in on the 11th of September, you took your life in your hands if you tried to organize a trade union. You were, if you weren't butchered, you were tortured and locked up, and the whole weight of society changed. Organized labor was sat on, and the gains were put very much in the hands of the Pinochet family itself. The family fortune was based on this theft from the public sector.
I couldn't agree with his use of the word terrorist more. Here we're talking of a case of a regime that put down, destroy democratically elected government, bombed the presidential palace, killed thousands and thousands of people, torture and put into exile another more thousands. How else can you describe it? Right, that was really a turning point, I think. That was early in the 1983, 84, but that was International Women's Day. All kind of forms of protest were prohibited at the time, but on the ban of International Women's Day, a very, very brave group of women who were living in some of them in the shanty towns, but other ones from middle classes, whose relatives had disappeared. And that defining picture was published in The Guardian shortly after. I think my coverage and that of other colleagues put Chile, and
yes,
your writing definitely put Chile back in the news. A lot of these women, very brave women, were doing the round of the different military prisons, or sometimes they found out about secret prisons and just,
Yes, and there were, I remember there being torture centres really in the centre of Santiago.
Yes,
you remember
yes.
the British Council, and next door but one there was a torture centre. Now I don't know whether the screams came through the wall to the good people studying Shakespeare in the British Council, but the screams were certainly visible if you were in that house. Is that the cathedral? Where's that?
That's in the main Plaza de Armas,
Yeah.
near the Vicaría de Solidaridad.
Yeah.
Water cannon. So that's, show how much respect they have for the press. I mean, there's a foreign TV crew by a Chilean photographer. So, they didn't care. In every protest there was a lot of tension because you didn't know whether you can come back alive, really. Out in the shanty towns, in the poblaciones, they shot people, they killed people, they burned people to death and to sustain horrible injuries. Who was here? That was in 1987 when His Holiness John Paul II
Yes.
decided to come and pay a visit
Yes.
to Chile.
Yes.
It's just incredible picture. By that time, was that they were getting more used to foreign press, and I had a proper accreditation. Otherwise, you wouldn't get anywhere. So I went to the airport to take that picture, and basically, it's the Pope bowing towards Pinochet, and Pinochet welcoming and all that. He did bless him, but to be fair, I mean, I think in a way that visit was another turning point. For the first time, there were big mass mobilizations were allowed, organized by the church and grassroots organizations. But Latin America liberation theology, taking its roots in the poblaciones, in the shanty towns, in the poor areas, in the countryside. So it became a very important space, for young people especially, to come and protest. And I say, well, okay, we're coming to see the Pope and to worship the Pope and to greet him and welcome to Chile, but they were really chanting slogans against the dictatorship.
Yes, who's that?
I remember that one. A year later, in 1988, Pinochet under a lot of pressure from, domestic, and definitely domestic pressure.
Yeah.
But also international pressure. He called for a referendum. So, you like me or you don't. Not wearing his uniform, civilian, pretending to be a good, was doing up, was going up and down the country for the sí vote, for the yes, vote for me, love me, look. And once you get there, I just felt like, quite unnerving actually. The one thing I could tell is that, he was not comfortable because he knew that, probably by that time, 70% of the photographers and camera people there were representing publications and networks that were kind of against him. So he was a bit, you are the enemies kind of thing, and he was quite defiant in a way. And from time to time he'd look at me and look at other, camera people, and it wasn't a very nice gaze. So under the No banner were kind of all the popular grassroots movements, the opposition. So there were mass mobilizations on a huge scale. We saw 1 million people, coming to the Alamedas in Santiago. But I mean, there were lots of complaints that people had still been arrested. There was a secret police trying to snatch me. I was just there with cameras and holding cameras in one demonstration. And the people themselves who were in the demonstration came and, got me back, snatched me back, and say, stop it. This is enough of this now. And it was wonderful. It was really a very moving time to be there.
I think Pinochet certainly thought that he was going to win. So they weren't at all downhearted because they knew that they were going to prevail and right would win through, but they gave too much leeway to the constitutionalists, to the Democrats in their country, and they lost, and that was a good thing. I only spoke to him once, and that was in Brasilia when he was visiting the dictatorship there. I was asked to write a book about his life, and I became very much more familiar not only with the ways he enriched himself as the dictator of Chile, but also his involvement in the drug trade, which is set out in my book. The facts are indisputable, and I was glad to put it down in black and white.
Chilean exiles in the UK, putting lots of things and a lot of pain behind. Hope, yes. They were the first born in Bristol.
Yes.
The Bustamante family, I remember quite well.
Yeah.
They were both political prisoners. They managed to escape, in one piece. And we demand justice for the political killings in Chile, demonstration in London in the 80s, just to show that how the resistance and the exiles were very kind of active at the time. Yes, that was outside the outside London clinic, demanding for his arrest.
Where am I? Come on, where am I?
He was
I remember.
he was being treated, and a happy ending would have been if he had stayed in prison or sent to The Hague for International Tribunal or something like that. But unfortunately, it didn't. But I mean, I think it was something that people felt that at least we managed to humiliate him.
Yes. I think for me it was.
And that's important.
A bittersweet moment, because Jack Straw, who had been responsible for his arrest, decided to release him on compassionate grounds.
Yeah, and the irony is that compassionate grounds for somebody who showed no compassion at all.
Exactly. Mm.